Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you all very much for joining today's live stream. This is the usual Sunday live stream where we get to have a chat with the community. We get to see what their feedback is based on the video I've put up here. I see there were some people that dropped in earlier, which is great. There was Nick Molnar and David in New Mexico as well. Put a couple of comments in. Nick Molnar saying there, brilliant. Save your stimulus, you will need it. What we'll do is we're going to go into a bit of detail exactly what stimulus checks are. I've seen various videos on YouTube about it. I don't really know anything about the stimulus check, so we're going to see exactly what it's all about. And for those out there, I've also put what should you do if you have a bit of extra cash lying around, or if you've got some cash coming in, what are your options? We're going to see what other people's thoughts are in relation to that. It's not always about me talking. It's also about the people out there adding their comments in and sharing it with everybody. Just a quick introduction. I'm Silver Limey 79. I tend to focus on precious metals, ideally silver, gold. I've also done some lately. I've been doing some rethinking my live streams. So every Sunday we have a chat about various topics. As you can see here, we've got that one there. Why do we stack? And then we've got the sales tax and VAT, free silver opportunities there to consider. And oops, I accidentally clicked that one. And then today's is not sure what to do with your stimulus check, savings, tax refund. Let's hear from the community. What to do with that extra bit of cash? Buy silver, pay off debt, buy gold. So we're going to run through and see what everyone's feedback is in relation to that. And then I'll show you guys a couple of articles that I've found here. And we'll also take a look at the price of silver and gold currently. Please hit the thumbs up. I always appreciate a good thumbs up on my videos. It helps the channel as well. Obviously, as you guys know, I don't monetize. There's a reason for that. I will be posting a community post shortly in relation to some information on that. Obviously, in regards to memberships, unfortunately, I cannot do memberships because I'm not monetized. Again, I'll go into a bit more detail, so watch out for that. Hit the thumbs up, please subscribe, and enjoy the live stream. Right, we've got a few people in here. There we go. There's Nick. Silver Stanger, man. Hey, Silver Stanger, how you doing, man? Thanks so very much for joining us here. Donald, New Mexico. Yeah, you dropped in a bit early than usual. You dropped in about 2 hours ago, Donald. So really appreciate your feedback there. He says, snort your stimulus. Nick Molnar says, save your stimulus, you'll need it. Thought this was already started. Now, unfortunately, if there was a countdown involved, but for those, I've got 2 people watching at the moment. What's your feedback? Are you applicable to a stimulus check? What are your plans to do with it? If not, your feedback in case you got one. What do you think your main priorities would be based on you receiving that stimulus check? Or on the other hand, if anyone's got any savings, they're not really sure what they're going to do with it, or you've got some ideas, definitely share that in the chat. First things first. Right, so that's my page there, and then I've just updated the description as well, but you're more than welcome to check that out. Right, the main topic really is the stimulus check. So I've got this website here, is the AARP, and it's under the Politics and Society. So it's a stimulus checks. Who is eligible and how much will they be? This was posted on the 19th of May. I thought it was a pretty good article, so hence why I've used it. You're more than welcome to check them out. aarp.org, politics -society. Right, it says the federal lawmakers enacted a $2 trillion economic stimulus package. Now, as you all are aware, there's numerous videos going on YouTube about the $2 trillion economic stimulus package and its negatives in relation to that printing money to solve the issues of the world. However, they were planning to give each American up to $1,200, obviously a check posted out to them. But we're going to find out exactly what this details. Now, it does look like it's in relation to the current situation. So as you guys can see there, economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. It says the legislation will give single adults who have reported adjusted gross income of $75,000 or less in their 2019 tax returns. So this is all based on your tax return. $75,000 a year, it's about 68,000, 67,000 euros. I still think that's a pretty good salary. I'm not really sure on the salaries in America. If that's good, please let me know in the chat. Your feedback's always appreciated. It's a one-time check for $1,200. Married couples who filed jointly will receive $2,400. I presume that's obviously one for each of them. Families will get an additional $500 for each child under 17. So if you've got a big family, let's say 5 kids and they're all under 17, well, you plan to get $500 for each of them. Obviously subject to your tax return adjusted earnings for 2019. It says in a letter sent to Congress in March 17th, the AARP asked lawmakers to provide payments directly to Americans as part of any stimulus packages. They always say this, instead of giving it to the banks, give it directly to the people. I saw this in, there was something very similar to this posted in, I think it was for Europe, and they were saying, don't bail out the banks, give the money directly to the people. We support direct cash payments to individuals, whether working, unable to work, unemployed, or retired, said the AARP executive vice president. Unlike a payroll tax rebate, which helps only those who receive payroll checks, obviously that's the tax rebate I was telling you guys about there. Direct payments provide benefit more broadly, including people most in need. Okay, so it looks like the majority of the stimulus package is directly related to people who are in need of financial assistance. Right, we're up to 4 people at the moment. Let's see. Mellow Stacker says, I purchased silver and gold and a 9mm Beretta APX because I'm working, my bills are paid, and I have enough savings. Fair play to you. Absolutely fair play to you, Mellow Stacker. So he bought a bit of silver and gold, and on top of that bought looks like a firearm. That must be some machine you have there, Mellow Stacker. Silver Stanger says, I used my income tax to get a couple of ounces of gold. My stimulus check is just hanging out in my bank account for now. Awesome. Well, Silver Stanger, that's awesome, man. Really appreciate you putting your feedback in there. Are you more than likely just going to keep it on the side? You're not going to spend it just in case you need it? I know you said it's hanging around in your bank account for now. You haven't really made a plan for it. Let's see. I figured but a gun with the government money, says Mellow Stacker. Nice choice with the Beretta. And then we've got, how is the ammo supply around you? I presume that's related to Mellow Stacker at the moment. Right, here we go. So we got Social Security recipients eligible for stimulus checks. So we've got the AARP work to ensure individuals who were collecting Social Security benefits for retirement, disability, or supplemental security income will be eligible for a stimulus payment. The AARP also successfully fought to guarantee that low-income Social Security recipients will receive a full $1,200 check, not $600 as originally posted. The size of the check will decrease based on income for individuals who earned more than $75,000. I presume that's per annum, which is per year. So if anyone earned more than $75,000 for the year, they would get a less kind of return, or their 2018 return if they have not filed yet. The payment for individuals will shrink $5 for every $100 earned over $75,000. For couples who have filed jointly, the reduction will start once they earn more than $150,000. For the heads of the household, $112,500. Individuals who earned more than $99,000 and couples who earned more than $198,000 jointly will not receive checks. So anyone who's effectively earned more than $100,000 a year, by the looks of it, will not get any stimulus check. Obviously, I presume that's probably a great salary there, $99,000 a year. The income cutoff for household is $136,500. It says here payments for Social Security beneficiaries will go out automatically. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail. So by the sounds of it, it pretty much goes on what you're earning. Right. So the main points out of that is if your gross income of 75,000 or less, looks like you're entitled to the 1,200. I presume that's gross. That's before tax, I presume. Yeah, I suspect it probably is. They'll receive a check for 1,200. Married couples obviously at one of those each, and families will get an additional 500 for every other kid. It looks like they've tried to do everything directly just to avoid any sort of middlemen. So there you go. Rather interesting bit of information there. Let's see if we got a few more people in. We're still sitting at 4 people at the moment, so scarce, but I always have a stockpile. There's Metal Stacker, obviously, his Archaeology Mikey 007. Hey, hope everyone is safe. If they are trapped in the riots, I know some interesting information coming out of there. I was half thinking about creating a live stream just for that alone, but this was already on the cards. And I want to try and keep it precious metals focused as opposed to making it too political. But yeah, the situation there in America is pretty interesting. Silver Stanger said, work for me right now isn't 100% reliable, so I need the extra cash to pay bills. There you go. Okay, so he's just keeping it there just in case. Very much like myself, Silver Stanger, I'm not currently at work. I was temporary layoff, but I'm going to be going back to work soon. So, you've really got to make sure that you've got all your bases covered, especially when you've got a limited amount of funds coming in. The government here have supported anyone who's been a temporary layoff. They get some form of payments, effective, which is higher than normal to cover any of those expenses. Again, this is all money that will probably have to be paid back at some point. So there's no such thing as free money. Probably the same with stimulus checks. There's no such thing as free money. It needs to be paid for one way or another, whether it's going to be the tax man or it's going to come out of something. Everything always needs to be paid, and that's what the Irish government has said as well. They were pretty adamant that there's no such thing as free money. Graham Stacker says, hey, Sublime 7 everyone, hope you're all having a good Sunday. Yeah, Sunday's been pretty good, and the weather's been great this side, Graham. And yourself? Graham Stacker, Silver Stanger, yep. I spent $100 on silver yesterday. There we go. Archaeology Mikey 007, still going at it. Awesome. Michael M. Man, Michael M. I haven't seen you for a while, mate. Good to have you here. Right. Now we're going to move on to some other things. So I came across this interesting article here, and it wasn't posted long ago. It was last month. So it said, what should you do with your extra money during the COVID-19 crisis? Now, again, these are purely opinions. I'll put a little disclaimer in the description there. You're more than welcome to check it out. But this is just more basically tips as one should approach it. The way I would approach it, if I had any additional funding, I either want to grow that money, or my main priority is to settle debt. For me, debt is something that needs to be consistently worked on in order to eradicate it, especially in my life. Pretty much by next year, I want to be in a situation where I will no longer have debt, and I do not want to get into debt ever again. It's one of those goals in my life where I've just said, you know what, next year, that's it, calling it. I don't want to borrow money. I'll prefer to save it up, use that money, then buy something. I think that's probably going to be the way I'm going to do it, based on amount of money that's constantly borrowed out there. And when you don't owe any money, man, I tell you what, life's going to be good, because you'll always have that money in the bank. If you think about it, you have your loans to worry about, your credit cards to worry about. All of that money needs to be paid every month. Without it, just think of that. Just think how much money you will have extra per month just by servicing or getting rid of those of that debt. And I think that well, we're going to take a look here and see exactly what the suggestions are. Right, so this is the Motley Fool, fool.com. It's got /retirement/2020. What should you do with the extra money during the COVID-19 crisis? So at a time when so many people are struggling to make ends meet, anyone with extra cash should put it to good use. Right. And again, this is, my goal is to always have some sort of reserve pool available, because especially if you're getting involved with precious metals, you do not want to be using money that you're going to need in a month's time, and that is the honest truth. This is something that you want to keep aside. You use that money, you go, right, I'm leaving that there. I don't need to worry about it. If you're using money that you're more than likely going to use or require in the next week to month down the line, then it's most likely not a great thing. Because you've got premiums to worry about. If you're buying silver now for, let's say, $28 an ounce or $26 an ounce, you're paying, and eventually when those premiums do start to subside, as production starts to get back to normal, you'll see premiums drop off. You might go, well, I need that money now. Oh, yeah, hang on, this guy's only offering me $24 an ounce or $23 an ounce, but I paid $28 like a month ago or a few weeks back. So you're going to constantly find yourself under pressure if you're using money that you're going to need in the next week or two. Let's have a look here. Michael M, he says, I spent close to 200 on 3 ounces of silver. Wow, that must have been some 3 ounces of silver. Good over here. You guys getting stimulus checks in over there? Well, we do get some form of assistance. Not necessarily a stimulus check, but there is a unemployment fund that was started during this particular situation, which is available for those that have been laid off or temporary layoff. So there is something there. It's enough to keep things going, but again, if you're overextended and you've got too much debt, more than likely that is not going to be enough to cover it. And that's why I was just saying there, you're better off having some sort of reserve fund to use in case that situation arises and you're going to need maybe an extra month or two when you be back in at work, that you've got some sort of buffer. Because without any buffer, that's when you're going to hit problems, is when you've got no buffer and you're using let's say your extra cash that you've had and you've already bought your precious metals with it. Now you're going to need it again. And then you try and sell them, and then you're going to see what the difference is between what you paid for it and what you sold it for. Hey, Health Babe, how are you doing? Says, hey, Silver Limey 7 and all. Just pop in real quick to say hi. Always a pleasure to see you. Depends on the situation where you are, if you need resources. That's Archaeology Mikey 007. Silver Limey, I missed your one there. Silver Limey 79, paying off debt should be on top, since interest rates for most debt for the general public is very high. Yep, if you always have a look at what your loan rate is, a lot of people don't look at the APR rates or what the interest rate is. They just see the monthly. I just want to pay $50 a week, or I just want to pay €50 a week, or €200 a month, $200 a month. That's all I want to do, and they'll calculate it and go, here's your payment. And they go, yeah, great. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's maybe 12 or 13 or 15% interest. So for me, I've always looked at the interest side of it. I mean, many years back, as an example, I was looking at, I just finished paying a loan off, and I thought, let me see if I was just about to, something like that. Wanted to keep things going. So I asked them, I said, look, yep. Well, no problem. We'll approve that for you, no problem. And then I was like, well, what is the interest? They said to me it was 28%. I was like, 28%? Are you off your head? I said, no, thank you. I said, I'd rather struggle my way through it, because if you can get through the bad times without having to borrow money, that's when it's going to become easier after that. And I've seen it where I've said no to high interest loans, and I've worked my way through that tough period. And when you have got through that tough period, it just becomes so much easier, because you don't need to worry about that money you got to pay every month. And then you're like, well, that was a good decision, actually. Precious metals would be at the very bottom of the list. Cash is king still at this moment. That is coming from Health Babe. So she says paying off debt should be the top. Since interest rates for most debt for the general public is very high, precious metals would be at the very bottom of the list. And then, of course, cash is king still at this very moment. But for those that haven't taken part in my poll, guys, I've got a community poll. If you haven't put your vote in, I'm going to add the link in the description there. Please go and add your votes. Please take part in that poll. There it is. Just copy and paste that straight to your webpage. Get involved. I want to see a nice increase in the amount of votes on that, and I'll definitely get you input. It's pretty interesting, but Health Babe's pretty much hit it right there based on the poll that I did yesterday. She's nailed it. So look, Inkman78. How you doing, Inkman78? It's good to see you, buddy. Cheers, Health Babe. Thanks very much. Melostacker says, my ex-wife is all my debt in the divorce. I'm good and debt-free. There you go, Melostacker. I think you're living the dream, mate. You're living the dream. I'm sure everyone would love to be debt-free. But, we all need, occasionally, a lot of us need that extra bit of cash every now and then for whatever the reason is. But I'm sure all of us would love to be debt-free. Jeez, I keep spilling tea here. Sorry. DB Stupid just dropped in. Fantastic, man. DB, great contributor to the live streams every Sunday. Good man. Thank you very much for dropping by. Right, so let's move on. So we've got, like I was saying here, so we've got COVID-19 crisis hitting millions of Americans financially. Unemployment claims are through the roof, while small businesses have been clamoring to secure loans that at this point may no longer be available. It's a time when money is overwhelmingly scarce for a lot of people, and when everyone with a steady paycheck ought to be grateful. And what if you happen to fall into that latter category? What if your earnings what if your earnings are holding steady only because everyone is forced to stay at home and you're actually spending less money than you typically would during a normal life period? If you're managing to retain more of your paycheck and maybe have a stimulus payment coming your way, to boot, you're clearly in a enviable position. Here's how you can make most of it. Okay, so what this site here, and they've given us a few tips here, and we're going to go through them one by one. Okay, so like what I was saying about an emergency fund here at the bottom. So we've got this guy holding up a bunch of hundreds. That would be something. Wouldn't that be great? Have a few hundreds in our pockets. It says boost your emergency fund. Just because you're doing okay financially today doesn't mean that it will be the case next month. So for me, pretty much the last few months, as I've been managing the outgoings and obviously doing my best to ensure that we're above water. And in most cases, you need some sort of reserve fund because you know that that is going to be replenished, obviously, once things go back to normal. Okay, so it says here, just because you're doing okay financially today doesn't mean that it will be the case next month or next year. Even without the global health crisis, you never know when you might fall victim to a layoff or extensive home repair that turns out financially world upside down, turns your financial world upside down. That's why it's crucial to have a healthy emergency fund. Ideally 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses socked away in the bank. If you're not there yet and are managing to not spend all your earnings right now, use the excess to boost your emergency savings so you have options when things don't go your way financially. So again, I've got 2 dogs. I've got my wife's car. We've got obviously insurance payments for her car. I just pay off every year. It's the best thing. The best thing for me is just pay it off once off. I don't worry about any monthly payments. And then we've just got my wife's car payments. Now, essentially, at the moment here in Ireland, is they've offered us a payment break during this issue. So I've taken the payment break at the moment just to make sure that 100% that we're going to have money in our fund should we need it. So let's have a look here and see if you've got a few more comments. Archaeology Mikey 007 says, I watch YouTube. I watch a YouTube video on underwater drone in Alcatraz waters, and in the video looks like to be in a raft on the sea floor, maybe from the prisoners that tried to escape. Wow, interesting. Maybe they tried to float the raft and it didn't quite make it. Stack Save UK, good to see you. Thank you very much, man. How are you doing? Have I missed much? Well, what would it be, 25 minutes in? The usual live streams are going to be an hour, so about 25 minutes worth. We were just talking about the stimulus check, what it is, how it works, who's applicable to it. You're more than welcome to scroll if you want to take a look and find out a bit of information on that. It gives you thresholds, based on your tax return. DB Stupid says, Health Babe, Hong Kong dollar moving some funds into US dollar. US dollar will be the global safe haven until proven unreliable. I totally agree with you there, DB Stupid. I know there's a lot of videos going around in relation to the US dollar and it's coming to an end and, this and that. But, the main thing is at the moment, it's top dog. It's going to take hard work to get rid of that, and at the moment during any sort of crisis, what currency would you rather have? Buy an ounce of gold, a nice big shiny one. DB Stupid says, I wonder if stable coins are being an option of Hong Kong. Stable coins, you must be looking crypto. Right, okay, so boost your emergency fund. So always have an emergency fund available. Now, I know we've seen videos for stackers showing us the stacks, and they've always got some cash there as an emergency fund. And I've often questioned that. I say, well, what is the point if you're a stacking channel and it's all about the precious metals, right? But then you have some emergency cash. But I myself follow a very similar principle, is that you have to have some sort of emergency fund available. So in hindsight, yes, that is a good idea to have some form of cash available should you need it. Number 2, right, here we go. Pay off costly debt. Now, I was saying there in relation that we're going to take a look at the poll again, guys. Make sure you head round there, put your votes in, and we're going to have a look and see what the breakdown is. Debt is a big thing. If you're carrying a credit card balance or another type of expensive debt, now's the time to try knocking it out. The sooner you do, the less interest you'll pay, and because we don't know whether COVID-19 will batter the economy to a point where layoffs become even more widespread, the fewer bills you're responsible for, the better. Obviously, if you've got less bills, also frees up more money that you can put into your reserve fund back at point number 1. Obviously, it'll give you a little bit more freedom to play with. Right, number 3. So we were just talking about debt there, and my own targets and goals for next year is to have all our debt paid off by next year, and we'll have no more. And once all that's paid off, it's going to be great because it's going to free up quite a substantial amount monthly for my wife and I. Right, let's have a look and see. Hopefully, I'm still keeping you guys enthralled here. Archaeology Mikey 007 says, looks like the $1 stores would be a thing in the past if they get rid of the $1. I used to remember the crazy stores, and they used to have, back when currency was stronger, you'd have a euro store or a dollar store, even I think it used to be called, when I was living in South Africa, I think it was the R5 store. I think it's slowly morphed into, I think it was originally the R2 store, then the R5 store, now the R10 store. And likewise with the stores here, the euro or the pound land, for those that are living in the UK, how everything changes. And in a video I posted recently, I was talking about face value on the US American Silver Eagle coin, and how the value has changed. If you look in 1986, $1 was worth, or $1986 today is worth $2.33. However, they still put the same face value on, even though no one's really going to be crazy enough to go and spend it. But I've always thought it would make sense to adjust accordingly. However, I did say it could also be a historic fact that the silver dollar was always known as a silver dollar. It's not silver $2. So it could also be that. Again, I also think that maybe they know that silver will never be worth a lot of money. So that's the perception of what a 1 ounce silver piece is worth, is $1. Who knows? Stack Save UK says, all my stack is at my folks' house. I was going to say, you're better off not keeping anything at home. I have zero debt. There you go. Did you ever have debt, though? That's what I'd like to know. Stack Save UK. Did you have debt in the past? Did you learn from mistakes previously when you had a lot of debt? Were you ever in that situation? Was anybody ever in a situation where they had a lot of debt, they managed to regroup and refocus their efforts in regards to paying off debt, and are now better off? That's what I'd like to know. If you guys put your comments in the chat. I don't have a bank account, credit card yet, and that would be when I get a well-paid job. Well, if you got a well-paid job, Archaeology Mikey 007, I wouldn't bother with a credit card, personally. DB Stupid says, I have to wonder how many people are considering strategic defaults. As in strategic defaults, as in, are we talking reserve funds here? Or you're talking bigger corporations, DB Stupid? Hyperinflation dollar stores will become a $10 store. Everything is a tenner. Well, we've all seen it over past when we've seen the cheap stores all rename because they're no longer, they can no longer buy or sell for that amount of money anymore. DB Stupid says, Archaeology Monkey said they used to have a dime store a year. I heard the term 5 and dime as well. Wow. I think they all call them thrift shops now, and instead of the $5 store or the $1 store, or the €10 store, or the €5 store, everything's available for €5. DB Stupid says here, not a year. Yes, I had 3K on a Barclays credit card. Was that fairly recently? A Stack Save UK. Just share your thoughts. I mean, you don't have to go into too much detail. Did you decide no, that was enough? You didn't need it, or so you put a comment there. I worked my way out of debt while stacking. Took about a year. There we go. Good thoughts there, DB Stupid. Was it debt that could have? Did it take a lot of effort to get through that that debt? Have you been in debt since? As in, you got out of it, and then you hit a little slump, and then you decided to, well, you've got to make an effort here. You've got to get a little bit more money in. Did you learn that that debt is, you don't really want to get into that again, and you want to be debt free? Is that the way you foresee it? It took forever to pay off. Now I'm free to buy gold and silver as and when the Royal Mint releases new coins, which at the start of this year was crazy. A coin every month. I know, yeah, that's exactly what I've been waiting for, Stack Save UK. Like literally, when I bought the Una and the Lion 2 ounce silver proof, I was like, yeah, great. Now when's the next one available? And I'm constantly on there looking for stuff. Excuse me. Nothing yet. And I'm just really looking forward to the next engraver coin. I heard the 1 cent, the 5 cent might be taken out of circulation in a year or two. Probably a good idea. A lot of the even here, like people, they round everything up now. They used to have a €1, 1 cent, and a 2 cent. Everything's now 5 cents. Even in South Africa, for instance, I think they got rid of the 5 cent, and I think it's the 10 cent. That's the lowest form of change you can get. There you go. Deeply Stupid says persons running up debt and defaulting, stacking hard assets, and stop paying mortgages. Another way to look at it is, yes, debt. We can all live with debt, but the way I would probably manage it is how much liquidity you have. There's got to be a degree of liquidity versus debt. So let's just say if you have, let's give an example. Let's say 5,000. Let's say you're €5,000 in debt. However, your liquidity or your total assets exceed that amount, then you can pay that off anytime. The problem is that when you've got a lot of debt and you've got low liquidity, so for instance, if you owe 10,000, but you've only got 2,000 or 3,000 liquidity, you'll effectively default by 7,000 that you've got to really work hard to get that back. So, debt is okay to a degree, so long as you can pay it back. But you need to make sure your total liquidity exceeds any debt that you take on. So let's just say, for instance, you wanted to borrow five grand, and your total liquidity was 12 or 15,000. You know that you could pay that back anytime if you wanted to. If you needed a short-term loan, you can go right in 3 months' time. Poof, I'll have that paid off. Versus if your liquidity is far lower, that's when you end up getting stuck in the cycle because it takes you forever to actually pay that money off. It's the same thing with credit cards. One thing I noticed about credit cards is that it's just revolving credit, and I paid off my credit card last year, and I will not have anything to do with it again because it's this revolving loan that you just don't pay it off. You're constantly putting money into it, but obviously your interest is coming off that. Let's say your payment required is 50 euros a month, and you're paying that, and that's your minimum, and you end up spending 60, 70. You're effectively not sorting out the issue, and you're going to be constantly borrowing on that credit card for a very long time. Stack Save UK. Yes, it was last year. I was using it too much. Lunches, women, beer, very bad habits. So Stack Silver UK has got rid of his debt. He's completely debt free. Galaxy Mikey 007 in the US. Yes, I thought that. He's just talking about the 1 cent and the 5 cent coin being discontinued. Stack Save UK says like buses. DB Stupid says, when I decided to pay off debt, it was more than housekeeping. Choosing not to have revolving debt, cut back on spending over a year, and stopped allowing balances to carry on month to month. And that's pretty much the point I was just on, is that and why I just cleared it. I had a Range Rover. It was, my wife, we had 2 cars. And it was just crazy to have it because obviously I had a company car as well. I'm going to have this car as a weekend car, and I wanted so many ideas for it. I was like, yeah, we're gonna go. I wanted to go overland with it because it was a Range Rover, and had all the tech features in it. But to have a car sitting around, it just started to cost money, even though it wasn't even being used. And then not only that, the road tax to allow it to be driven on the road was excessively high. And then something happened in our life that pretty much I got rid of it, took that money, half of it, put it in, cleared my borrowings, and I was like, yes, one thing is clear. Silver Lime just dropped my comments in your statistics page instead, since the chat has a limitation of 200 characters. Didn't know that. Thank you very much for that, Health Babe. Extremely hard, Silver Lime. He says, Stack Save UK. There we go. Silver Stanger said hello. Once people decide not to service debt, inflation's going to take off. And that is another point. when you're borrowing money, it's in the big machine. You know, all the cogs are moving, and you know, that's being slowly worked on because people are paying that in. Now, the moment people stop paying what they owe, that's when the machine starts to break down. But it's a very good comment here. DB Stupid says, once people decide not to service debt, inflation's going to take off. So something to think about. There we go. Just saying hi there to Health Babe. DB Stupid says, debt is the knee on the neck of the public. That's an interesting way to put it. Thank you for that, DB Stupid. Stack Save UK. Son, I paid it off. My bank offered me a new one with 5k limits. So hard to turn down, but I ripped it up and binned it. Good man. And that's it. There's so many banks out there that, and you know, I'd say the ones that are constantly borrowing other targets, or the ones that are sort of less liquid, that they're more enticed to offer you things. And I was watching the show on Netflix, and it was called Dirty Money. I'm sure there's probably some of you that have probably seen it. Have you guys seen Dirty Money? If you haven't, check it out on Netflix. They've got a very nice, interesting article there of Wells Fargo. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. I'm sure some of you might bank with Wells Fargo, but have a look at that. It's a bit of an eye-opener. Civil Army 79. Anyway, pay off debt. I have 0. So this is Health Babe's top 5s. So she says, pay off debt, keep USD, buy food, not buying gold, not a buyer's market. Silver, no thanks. Bye. Right, so this is Health Babe's suggestion. Or this is the way she works it. She pays off the debt, she keeps US dollars, she buys food, not buying gold. Hence why, if we have a look at my poll, again, I'm going to add the, we've got a few more people in. Just head over there and post your comment, take part in the poll, please. You'll see that. Just copy and paste that link if it's not blue. Put your vote in. We're going to check the results shortly. Not buying gold is not a buyer's market. So obviously, Health Babe reckons it's too expensive to buy gold at the moment. Silver, no thanks. Thanks very much for that, Health Babe. Great feedback. My teacher gave me a circulated 2020 American Silver Eagle 1 ounce silver round, since he knows that I worked hard and earned Eagle rank and graduating from Harvard Tech High School. Wow, that sounds great. Archaeology, Mikey. Man, so your teacher gave you an ASE as well? Must be one of the top students. DB Stupid says, I hear you on the car topic. I have a few vehicles that I stopped paying the insurance and tags on. They are storage now. In the past, I just paid things when due. Now I put more thought into it. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, it's great having a whole bunch of cars lying around, but if it's costing too much to either get them repaired, get them serviced, because regardless, every year your car's going to need servicing. Because let's say in our situation, we have a spare car. I've got a company car. Wife has her car, and then we have the middle car to use on the weekend. It was great. I spent a lot of money on it. Did I get that money back? No. It's like with any car you buy out there, you never make your money back on it, no matter what the repairs were. It's not like the old days of 20, 30 years ago where you put that repair work in and you were like, this car is going to set you back 8,000. I'm selling it for 8,000. And then, in the back of your head, up 6,000 for what I bought it for. And I put repairs in of 1,000, made 500 on the car. But yeah, those days are long gone. But yeah, if you don't, it's just going to cost you too much, and you'll probably find that that's money you could have invested, or could have paid off your debt, something like that, instead of putting it into a damn car that's sitting outside and not being used. There's the link. Make sure you check that out. We're going to have a look at those details now. Anyway, let's check this out. So we got invest. If you're good on emergency savings and don't have an unhealthy debt in your aim, so again, only invest if you've got the top two covered. So if you've got an emergency fund, pay off costly debt, that gives you the ability to invest. So if you're good on emergency savings and don't have an unhealthy debt in your name, remember, a mortgage is a healthy type of debt, the one that can work to your advantage tax-wise if you have prime opportunity to grow wealth by investing your spare cash. You have a couple of options in this regard. You can look at researching individual stocks and adding them to your portfolio, or you can buy index funds, which give you a broader market access. Now, again, obviously, they're looking at shares and stocks, whereas us in the precious metal community will look at gold and silver as an investment. They won't. So again, pay off your debt, have an emergency fund, gives you a really good chance to invest money. Another thing I've always said anywhere is researching. Okay, there's the word there I was looking for. I've always put understanding the market you're getting into. When you're putting money into an investment, you want to know what you're investing in. I mean, I wouldn't blindly go into, let's say, a supermarket. Tesco's. Yeah, here you go. I want to invest $5,000 in it, without understanding the principles of what I plan to get out of that money. It's not just about throwing money in there and hoping that you're going to get a return, because you'll just end up losing money. So you have to do your own research when investing in anything. You got some sort of understanding. It's not just about buying coins. Oh yeah, check that out. I've got a ASE on the table. What is it that makes it unique? What is it that makes it hold its value? What are the fundamentals? Why do I predict that it is going to go up in value in the years to come? You got to know all that. Four, pad your retirement savings. Now, there's loads of videos out there on YouTube. I haven't done one because I don't fully understand the 401k principle. The more money you put into your 401k or IRA, the more you stand to retire with down the line. And if you fund a traditional 401k, you'll lower your tax burden for the current year. Another big one, which a lot of us either don't have time for, or it's not something in our minds: help others. You may be sitting on spare cash right now, but many of your fellow Americans, obviously use Americans, fellow people, aren't as such. It certainly wouldn't hurt to use some of that money to help those in need. You can look at donating to a local food bank, supporting a charity that's involved in COVID-19 relief, or simply helping out of work friend with an interest-free loan. Supporting local businesses is also charitable. To see how buying gift cards to pump money into nearby establishments, or ordering from a struggling restaurant and distributing that food to people who need it. At a time when so many people are hurting financially, having extra money is something to be thankful for. Make an effort to put that money to good use, namely to better yourself financially, while also helping those who aren't as fortunate. So again, to do that, you've either got to have one or two of the applicable ones up here. I like that, helping others. Something we should all probably do more of. Jimmy LaCarrie, hey man, hello from New York, Silver Lining. Good to see you there, Jimmy. Sounds like Saturday Night Live. Jimmy LaCarrie, live from New York, Silver Lining. Stack Save UK says, I got my quarter ounce 007 gold bond back from Numistack. I guess the grade. Is it bullion or proof? Let me know, buddy. Oh yeah, he's got it. He's got a proof one. I want to get the gold 007. That's it. PF70 over the moon with that grade, Silver Lining. Yeah, awesome, man. Congratulations. I always said what they should have done with the 007 series is they should have made a series out of it. Do a Dr. No or the Man with the Golden Gun, rather than just do one 007 coin. I think that would have been fantastic. Would have been a lot of thought put into it. They could have done a coin for each of the movies. I think that would have been great. Gold coin, lovely quarter ounce. I love toning on silver. My favorite is blue toning. I've seen a few of them. Pretty magical there, Archaeology Mike. DB Stupid says, once you start saving in gold, you'll take a much different process on spending going forward. Very true. Once you start investing in something, you're almost hooked, and you want to get more of it because you're thinking, yeah, if I put money into this in the next 10, 20 years. Also, guys, don't forget that investing in precious metals is probably the most easiest way to invest money. Buying a bullion coin here and a bullion coin there, and putting it aside, obviously somewhere safe, is one way to save for the future and invest. Lovely rainbow silver Morgan dollar is my favorite tone coin. That's great. Like Bitcoin, says Stack Save UK, and Ethereum. I think I just butchered the spelling, but at least I know what you mean. Proof, yeah. Thanks very much for that. It's addicting to stack silver and gold, and I mean a lot of us love getting our coins out. I got my coins out the other day, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good, you know, because you're holding it in your hands. You know, you've got 5 or 6 ounce coins, and you're like, and it's got that weight and substance to it, and you know that one of these is worth $17, $18. But yeah, I agree that the Royal Mint should have released a 007 series, having said that there were so many different bond coins released.
Just a sec.
Don't know what just happened there. Siri just came on there. They can't print gold. Well, they can make gold notes for those that haven't seen them. It's the gold back. Utah Goldback or something like that. I think I've seen a couple of videos, like the fake money. They can't print it. And the sound of silver. Yeah, the sound of silver. It's that weight to it, man. Having it in your hands, you pick up 10 coins and you have them in your hand. 10 ounces. Something to hold. It says here the 16,728,000 Social Security bonus most retirees completely overlook. If you're like most Americans, you're a few years behind your retirement savings, but a handful of little-known Social Security secrets can help you ensure a boost to your retirement income. For example, one easy trick could pay you as much as $16,700 more each year. Once you learn how to maximize your Social Security benefits, we think you could retire confidently with peace of mind we're all after. Simply click here to discover blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're not really going to bother with that. We're not moving into that one either. Right, just give me a sec. Right, we're going to take a look at the results of the poll. Right, I'm just going to refresh this page. Right, so homepage, community. Here we go. So this was the poll I put up. It says the topic of what to do with the stimulus check has come up and would be explored in today's live stream. I don't even know if anyone has even received it. I currently found out yesterday that I got a tax refund due, which was totally unexpected. What do you think I should do with it? And obviously I gave you a couple of options there. All right, we had 39 votes, so we had a couple of extra votes here. Here are some options. So I put buy gold. So 8% of the voters, so we had, 39 votes. 8% said buy gold. 28%, which is interesting, said buy silver. And that was my second option. I put buy silver, and I even put buy food because it's been mentioned previously that you should, people say to me, like, how much food do you have? And I'm like, not much. I might have a couple of weeks worth. Something like that. I don't really think of it in that prepper kind of mind. But 8% said buy food. Obviously, buy silver there was 28%. So a very, what's up? If we're on 40 votes, at least a 28% would have all just over a quarter of you guys said buy silver. And then the whopper, which I put in there, which hardly anyone's mentioned really. If I look at videos out there, it's pay off debt, and a whopping 51%. So half of the voters suggested you pay off debt. Way ahead of gold and silver. And that's why I highlighted Health Babe's comment there earlier, because it pretty much says that. Her main focus was the payoff debt section. She's not buying gold for that reason, but that's obviously her goals for this year. I got 3 likes for that, and there's 9 comments there. We're going to check the comments out as well. And it said I've got only 5% said keep it in cash, whereas so that was Stone Last. Keep it in cash with Stone Last. Right, here we go. So I paid some debt and got gold and silver. That was Optimus Locust. Silver Bean Cannon says, I don't see it on the list. Give the bean a share. There we go. Just mentioned on the live stream. Since I won't get a check, I paid yours. Clayton says, I always say pay off debt unless your investment is guaranteed to pay more than the interest that you're paying on the debt. Womble Stacker says, what's that? And of course, that was the comment. Health Favorite says, regarding the stimulus check, debt should be top priority since the interest for most debt towards the general public is very high. Precious metals should be at the very bottom of the list, since they do not yield anything to offset the interest for debt. In addition, gold market has been a parabolic growth since last year, considering it is not a buyer's market. Holding cash in USD will be my preference at this moment, and wait for the opportunity to buy undervalued assets. Lovely comments. There we go. Right, so there were our comments. There's our results, everyone, of the poll. 51% said pay off debt. Right, let's check. Stack Save UK says, sorry, I've started talking about coins. No harm with that. It's a precious metals channel. I'll stop typing now and just listen. Archaeology Mikey says, I'll be getting a battlefield archaeology degree for college, and I'm hoping to get an underwater drone. That sounds great. Does that mean you're going to be making videos as well? I said Silver Wolverine. Yo, man, how you doing? You know, it's interesting. Silver Wolverine just posted a video there. He got his quarters graded, and he was posting his video at exactly the same time I was going live. So I was like, damn, I'll have to check this later. But I hope you got a good grade there, Silver Wolverine. DB Stupid says, stack cash rather than pay off debt. Being liquid is more important. But based on that comment, I hear what you're saying. But like I said, if you're more liquid than your debt, that's okay. Stack cash rather than pay off debt. I'd probably still focus on paying off debt. But that's just my opinion. Silver Wolverine there, just everyone's saying there. Right, we're going to take a look at let me go back to the page. Right, so silver had a very interesting week. And there is where it ended on Friday night. It was $17.85. It's now recouped its losses based on when we took the plunge there on the 9th of March. You can see now it's finally overtaken that. It's taken a very long time, just over 2 months, to get ourselves back up to this level, which is pretty substantial. If you look at it there, 20th of May is when we actually got back over that before the collapse there. So just over 2 months, $17.85 an ounce. And look at the transparency between these two. Silver taking much longer to get back to its gains. Gold, on the other hand, dipped and pretty much came back up by the 14th of April. It had already exceeded. In fact, there you go. That was the 9th of April, which was a full month later that it exceeded its or regained its losses, whereas silver, on the other hand, still struggled to get back up, and only over 2.5 months later did it recoup that gap there. So I'll show you there. That's gold. That's silver. Gold currently at $1,729. Right. So that's all I have time for, guys. So the top things: debt, according to our latest poll. Pay off debts, frees up money to invest in silver. Silver Wolverine, Silver Limey, you won't be happy. Oh dear. Oh, don't tell me, mate. But I'll check the video out in a sec once I'm finished with the live stream. Use lube first. Oh dear. Okay. Well, looking forward to it, mate. I'm going to go check it out after this. So we've got pay off debt. Looking at the poll results, and I'm going to bring that back up again. So there we go. Sorry, give me 1 minute there. We're going to get the poll results back up. Right, so 39 votes. Number one, pay off debts. If we look at the articles I've shown you, debt has always been one of the top priorities. Because once debt's paid off, you'll have more financial freedom to do with whatever you want. Let's say, be more liquid. I like to try and be more liquid than what I owe, because you know that if you have to, you can get rid of it, or you've always got the option to pay that off, versus the other way around. Buying silver and gold long-term wise, yeah, sure, absolutely. I don't disagree. I'm busy doing it now. I try to use money that is not in. That's why if you look at the latest, I've got one video that I still need to put up. My last video I did was the Arrowit, the 2 ounce. I took money out of a coin that I'd sold, that I'd graded previously, and I'd sold on eBay, got some good money for it. I used partially some of that to put towards that coin, and I had some money left from my previous coins I'd sold that I used to buy the other coin as well, which is coming. I can tell you what it is. You're going to have to wait and watch. And guys, finally, we're going to be getting around to the 1,500 subscriber giveaway once everything blows over. So just a little bit longer, just has to be a little bit more patient, but we're going to be doing the 1,500 subscriber giveaway soon. I've got the prizes ready to go here. They're right next to me. So watch out for that one. It's going to be awesome. Right. That is pretty much it, everyone. Let's go check the comments here. The Silver Wolverine, I'm going to check that out in a sec, buddy. If you have a credit card with 5K on it, throwing 1,200 at and being unable to pay 3 months later doesn't do a lot of good. It all depends on how secure your income is. It's a very good point. Archaeology Mikey 007 has a good laugh there. eBay is banned selling coins and currency. What? Oh, jeez. Honestly, what a joke. I presume he says banning there. I think Archaeology Mike 007 says eBay's banning selling coins and currency in 2021. Guys, I just smell it. It's me. It smells like digital currency is on its way. I wonder if they demonetize it. That is going to be the next one. Stack Save UK says, great chat, Silverlime. Guys, thank you all very much for joining me for today's live stream, and it's been an absolute pleasure. There we go. Sorry, just typing that out. It says, right, thank you for joining the live stream today. Hope you got the most out of it. There's a couple of comments there I heard on other streams. Okay, that's interesting. Well, again, there's difference between hearing it or actual fact. I would probably go after the source there and immediately go and look that up rather than hear from other people. Can eBay really do that? Or I suppose they can do whatever they like. If they want you to stop selling stuff, it's their own website. It's their own marketplace. DB Stupid says, I could see eBay banning being real. Super stuff, guys. Again, thank you all very much. If you can hit the like button on the way out in case you haven't already. And again, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Join the group, Silverlimey79 on YouTube. And I look forward to doing next Sunday's live stream. And I'll see what other stuff we're going to talk about next week. Archaeology Mikey 007 says, yes, they can. They can. A lot of fakes on. Yeah, I think that's probably what they're having an issue with, is the amount of fake coins out there and complaints coming in. I suspect that is probably it. There's too many fake coins floating around at the moment. People are getting ripped off, complaining like ridiculous amounts. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Thanks for doing the live stream. Take care. No problem, DB Stupid. And I'll catch you guys all on the next one. Don't forget to make sure notifications are set, and I'll see you all again soon. Again, thank you for Archaeology Mikey 007, Stack Save UK, Silver Wolverine as well dropped in there, which is great. Jimmy Lakari, hey Jimmy, thanks very much for joining the live stream. Hopefully see you on the next one, pal. Health Babe, Silver Stanger, and one more, Mellow Stacker. I'm Addy, everybody. Have a great Sunday wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all on the next one.